Should I pay off my debt or should I start saving first? Like, what do I do? This is absolutely one of the top 3 questions that I get. It's like, I have a lot of credit card debt, but I also don't have anything in savings. How do I handle this first? Also, by the way, I heard that I'm supposed to be investing. My name is Gaby Rincon. I'm a money coach and financial strategist. I specialize in working with the first-gen BIPOC community and empower them to live money stress-free. The answer is like, yes, absolutely. We want to pay off our debt because it's costing us a lot of money to be in debt, especially with high interest like credit card debt. But also, yes, we absolutely want to save, especially if we're building an emergency fund, because an emergency fund is our first line of defense against unnecessary credit card debt. Because as we all know, it's not a question of if something comes up, it's a question of more when something comes up. And then absolutely we want to be investing because the longer that we're investing, the more wealth that we accumulate. It's more about time in the market than timing the market. But let me break it down. And you're deciding how much of your income to allocate towards paying off debt and how much to allocate towards savings and how much to allocate towards investing. We gotta map out your entire picture, meaning we're gonna throw it all on the board here. So what are your debts looking like? What are the total balances? What are their interest rates, right? What are those minimum payments? And then what savings do we have? Do we have any capital savings at all? And then obviously, have we ever invested? Do we have like a 401k through work, for example? And based on that, once you've got the whole picture out here, you can decide, okay, what needs to be my focus area? What am I going to target first? Not that I'm ignoring everything else, but what is the priority? If you don't have anything in an emergency fund, for example, we need to start with that because as mentioned before, it's your first line of defense. So any available income will go to saving for that emergency fund. Ideally, it's in a high yield savings account because you're earning a higher APY and it's also farther away from your checking account, so we're less likely to dip into it. And a reminder that this doesn't mean we're ignoring everything else. You're still making your minimum debt payments. Again, it's about the priority of the emergency fund. Now, while your longer term goal will be to maybe save like 3 months worth of living expenses, perhaps you get up to about a month of living expenses before shifting priorities over to debt payoff, especially high interest debt payoff. When I'm working with clients, either one-on-one or in a group setting, we'll target their credit card debt first because that typically tends to be their higher interest, so it's costing them the most amount of money, and we'll use a debt snowball. So we'll attack the smallest debt first so they get that kind of instant win, and then snowball that payment into the next one, etc., etc. And here's the thing, especially if you've got an employer-sponsored retirement account, meaning like a 401k or a 403b through work, and they offer an employer match, meaning they will give you free money for it, we are going to sign up pretty much immediately. Depending on your individual context, what you've been doing already, what you're used to, the rest of your financial picture, you might sign up, might enroll into that 401k benefit and contribute 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, up to 10%. However, you might need to start smaller simply because you're not used to doing it. And as I always talk about, habits are built on tiny micro action compounding on itself. Sometimes I worry with clients, they're like, all right, well, let's just do 20% all crazy. But we haven't been used to that, so they're gonna wanna immediately be like, just kidding, never mind. Starting and contributing something is so much better than doing absolutely nothing, right? So let's start with a number that feels okay. Again, we're stretching a little bit out of our comfort zone, but we're not going so far that we're gonna wanna give up and completely just fad diet our finances and be like, never mind, maybe try it next year. And then as you clear some debts, you're able to beef up these capital savings again, really thicken up that emergency fund to maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months of living expenses saved. And then over here, increase those contributions until maybe you're doing 10 to 15%. What I'm illustrating here is that we have specific target areas within our finance plan. And as we go along it and meet certain goals, we are able to shift focus back and forth based on what the area then become. For an in-depth look at your financial picture and strategies to maximize your efforts in each financial area, please book a consultation. I would love to work with you.